Rewind the tape.
Hi guys, welcome back to Wait, Rewind the Tape with me, Natalie.
And me, Rue.
Woohoo! And following on from last week's amazing Bridgerton episode, we are fast forwarding in time and going across the pond, transatlantic to the States. And today we're going to talk about the Gilded Age.
Yay.
Which, if you don't know it, is a is it a HBO? I don't know. It was on now. Yeah, it's a HBO.
Yes.
We watched it on Sky/Now TV. And it is about obviously the Gilded Age and a different families in society in New York set during that time. So we'll get to it, but firstly, quick intros, quick hey, how are yous? So hey Ruth, how are you?
I'm cool. I don't know why I did that. Congratulations to our only ever podcast guest, Mystic
Twice times.
Yeah, who is with child, which I love saying, and I'll never get older. I can't speak. This is going to be a long episode.
With child is better. Is a nicer phrase than. I'm not sure how I feel about in the family way.
What? I've never heard that.
You've never heard that?
Never. Okay. What does that mean?
You're pregnant.
That doesn't make sense. In the family way. I
suppose it's an old timey. Yeah. When you can't just be like, she's knocked up, she's up the duff.
Oh my God, I've always wanted to so sad. But we talk about our pregnancy announcements. I'm definitely going for the caption, up the bloody duff. Absolutely.
You're not going to go for in the family way?
I don't know what that means. So I feel like,
you can't.
How can I say it? Yeah.
It really just means you're pregnant.
Sounds sinister.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't like that.
That's why it sounds very like I
don't get it. There's so many nice ways to say it. Like you could say like apart from like with child, you could even say like is bringing forth life in Old English. Like, why would you say in the family way? That makes it sound like you're a hitman.
Anyway, hold on. Let's just find out. Sorry, real quick. This is from like 1688. So do you know what I mean? Like so far back that they're not saying things like with they probably did say with child, but it's got to be a bit cloaked in just think writing down she's preggers is a bit much. And also I think it originally is meant to apply to both men and women. So I guess it's a parental thing, like we're in the family way.
Okay.
We're heading towards having a child.
Okay.
Sorry, that's really sidetracked us from what we wanted to say, which is congratulations to our good friend and podcast supporter, extraordinary woman, Mystic Bones.
Can't wait to meet the baby.
You're having a baby.
Yeah, apart from that in life, I'm all right. I'm quite tired today. Yeah. How are you?
How am I? I'm fine. Nothing much to report. Just enjoying life, taking a little break from work.
Which one? From your 9 jobs?
Yeah, from all of them. And just, enjoying doing some reading.
What are you reading? Sorry.
An amazing book, it's called, what's it called? If We Were Villains.
I never know the title of the book I'm reading. Is that bad?
It's absolutely amazing. It's it's kind of like that dark academia genre, which I love.
Okay.
Hot for dark academia.
Like Harry Potter?
No. Have you heard of the Secret History? That's kind of thought to be the no, that's The Secret Life of Bees. So The Secret History by Donna Tartt is another one of my favorite books. And it's dark academia is kind of it's usually about something sinister or mysterious, like a death or we'll just say a death that happens typically in a school, like an art school, kind of usually in the States. I guess that's the most, that's these two books I've read.
Okay.
And a very exclusive art school where the students are all like very, very much into whatever it is, whatever their discipline that is. They kind of live and breathe it. You know how like actors, dancers, musicians, they really like live and breathe that kind of life. And they're probably the kind of people we wouldn't really be friends with in real life. I don't think I'd be I don't think I'd fit in a dark, at one of these kind of schools. Although I'd like to think I would.
You weren't a drama kid, to be honest.
No, I wasn't. In a different life, maybe I could have been. I think maybe I would have wanted to be, but I wasn't confident enough to say that that's maybe what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And so, if you don't fall into it early on in school, you can't. It's quite hard to break into that.
I got into it a bit later, but it was a school that really pushed drama, so it was easier to get into, and sports as well. They really push them, so it's like almost like hard to not get pushed into some activity.
Not
all schools are like that.
Similar to our school, but you just. I think past a certain age, they're not really trying to put the drama people, that the drama crew, the troupe is established,
As was, I didn't do all the plays and everything. I didn't get into drama until I did GCSE drama, and then, or was it it might have been year 9. But it's because I think one of our English teachers, one of the quite high up English teachers, was the same high up drama teacher. So if he liked you in one class, I feel like he push you. You know how teachers always have their effing agenda, where they act like it's all about you, but they're really like, I'm going to use that, whatever you're like, oh no, you'd be really good at it. They're like, no, you fit a role. I have something like
that. Anyway, the book is great, so I'm really, really getting through it. I also finished Giovanni's Room. I don't know where you're at with your.
Okay, we can't talk about that until, because I'm about I want to say halfway, but I'm probably a third of the way through my book.
Okay, what's your book called? Do you remember?
It has men in the title. Okay, I'll Google it. James Baldwin Men. That's not
all I'll say on.
It says country or something. Another Country. That's what it's called. Yeah.
All I'll say on it is that it was tragic. Fantastic.
My book is fucking tragic, man. I'm not saying it's bad. I just want to know, because I'm sure Giovanni is also in my book as well.
Perhaps it's a prequel?
That's what I'm hoping. I haven't read them in the wrong order. I've done that before with a book where I've read it and then I've actually realised, because I'll just pick up any book that I like the look of.
I don't think that reading Giovanni's Room, though, I don't think even if the same character is in it,
it's not. Yeah,
it wouldn't ruin it. It's not. Even if you read them out of sequence, it's kind of like they're not. This is a very separate.
Oh my god. Italians everywhere will be up in arms. I'm confusing Giovanni with Vivaldo. And to anybody who's read both books out there is listening to this, because I feel like there will be someone, because they're quite famous books. They'll be like, the girl knows nothing.
Nothing. Okay, well, do read Giovanni's Room once you're finished. It's quite a short book. Yeah, it's not long. It's like 140.
Okay, mine's 400, which I felt like I started reading it and I was like, that's a really short book, and I was getting through it really quickly.
400 is, I would say, a fairly.
But you know what it is? Okay, so do you remember I was only reading books on? I was either listening to books or reading them on And listening to a book, I've realized it took me a long time of listening to books to realize you're not getting through them any quicker. You just think you are. It takes a long time to listen to a book. You still have to,
because it's still somebody reading the book out loud.
Yeah. So I honestly, I would get a book and I'd see 10 hours and I'd be like, oh, so I'll do that in a day. And then I'm like with it weeks later. I'm like, well, why is this taking so long? Because you're not just going to sit there and listen for 10 hours. That's very unlikely.
No, of course not. It's not a TV show.
You can't, honestly, even a TV show, you can rarely watch it. I don't know why people say you watch a TV show in a day. It takes 2-3 days. You can, but how often do you think you're watching it in a day, but it's been 2 days because you have to live, unfortunately.
If I'm hungover, then for sure I could get through a season.
Yeah. Not if I want to pay proper attention.
True. There's definitely a point at maybe episode, a critical moment where I fall asleep, wake back up, and I'm like, oh,
you have to pull it back.
What's happened here? Yeah. But then sometimes you just can't be bothered to pull it. You're like, no, I've got to keep going forward, but try and piece it together.
Depends. If it's something that light that I don't care about, I could leave it running in the background 90 other things. It doesn't matter. So it really depends. But you saying that about what's that genre of book you're reading, sorry?
Dark Academia.
Okay, so there's a series on Netflix. I'm not sure if I told you to watch it, but after I watched it with my cousin. We were like, that was amazing, but didn't see that coming. I thought you would love it. It's called Al-War. Oh, let me practice saying this. Al-Wabi. That's not even that hard to say. Al-Rawabi. Okay, it's not hard to say. I'm dyslexic, I swear. Sorry to dyslexic people, but I struggle with repeated vowels. Al-Rawabi School for Girls. And if you haven't seen it... Is it in...
Oh, no, Karen, go on.
I think it's Arabic. Yeah, it's Arabic, but it's like an English dub. I watched the dub. I didn't do subtitles. It is... Because it was about a school, so I was a bit like, but it's so good. It's weirdly dark. And because of the culture, the schoolgirls, their parents are strict, so it's but they're wealthy, so you get that whole scandalized side of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's also about women's rights in the end. It's really good. But it's brilliant. So guys, if you're listening and you haven't watched it and you like a dark school show, watch that.
A dark school show, yeah, that is.
Yeah. And it's not I find that school shows can be very frivolous. It's not like that. It's like a real drama. It's really, it's got some weight to it. You won't be disappointed. And the school was pink, which is probably what drew us in the first place. So we're like, oh, I love that color.
And then this was not what we were expecting.
Not at all.
Yeah, so I guess that's our weeks.
Yeah. Done. I'm just gonna. You keep talking. I'm gonna switch my video off and pour myself a drink.
Oh God. All right.
I'm still here.
What are you gonna? Sorry. What are you drinking, Ruth? If you don't mind me asking.
I absolutely don't mind. I am drinking rum.
With a mixer or as it comes?
No, as it comes, honey.
Neat.
I feel like neat whiskey is only neat. No? Or
it's not. Neat is just without ice.
Straight. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. I genuinely thought neat only referred to whiskey, honestly.
It probably could only refer to whiskey,
I think I just got that from TV. It's probably...
I suppose not a lot of other... Whiskey is a common thing to have just on its own without a mixer. Not a lot of people are just hit me with a vodka, neat. Hit me with a room temp vodka. I don't mind that though, to be honest.
Frozen shot of vodka, I don't mind. But
I'll drink lukewarm vodka.
Oh no. It is meant to be drunk frozen.
Of course, but
otherwise it tastes like it is cleaning fluid.
If warm vodka is my only option, and I really would like a drink.
Absolutely. I'll drink anything.
I might dilute it with a little bit of water.
Oh, that always reminds me of babies though. Not giving them alcohol. Don't call the I was going to say
NSPCC.
I felt like I get confused the NSPCC and the RSPCA.
RSPCA, yeah.
I haven't given money to the NSPCC in so long. I really should. I used to do it regularly. Like I feel like they used to have a lot more adverts. I can't remember the last time I donated.
That's true.
I'm literally Googling. Guys, if you don't know, the NSPCC is a child protection charity in the UK.
Yes, correct.
And they actually do the Lord's work. So, yeah. As far as I know, God, someone's going to email in and be like, actually. But as far as I know, it's like, I've never heard anything bad about that charity.
Yeah, I think they do. They're good.
Yeah.
A good one. I think I went to a carol service last Christmas, and I think it was an NSPCC one, but it might have been another children's child protection
it
charity.
Could be that now, though, it's not that the NSPCC has like less funding, it's just that there might be more charities. But I just feel like I've also stopped getting texts. Like I used to get those texts, not from the NSPCC, but I think it was like WaterAid who'd be like, hey, reply to this text. Shelter still do it. Reply to this text and we'll add £5 to your bill. That's such a good way, because like, as someone who's perpetually broke, if you ask me to put it on my phone bill, which I won't notice, I can put an extra like 5 or 10 and I won't actually remember. Do you know what I mean? It's the easiest
also
way to...
in checkouts.
No, I hate that, because I've only seen it in Tesco. And I feel like they don't say what charity it is.
Online or?
Oh, no, sorry. In store in Tesco.
In store, I feel a bit like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really, Tesco?
And this is really problematic. But there's something about a giant corporation worth billions, I'm assuming Tesco's worth billions, asking me to give money, because I'm just like, no shame.
Yeah.
Take
it off my bill.
A lot of money for food that's already gone up.
You're gonna take X%, or you're gonna take £1 off my bill that I've already paid you. Take it out of your margin.
I hate to big up Amazon. You know, I hate to do that.
Oh yeah, but
I
Smile.
did see. Yeah, that is a really good idea.
It is, but I always forget to go through Smile.
I've not used it once, and I've ordered since I've found out about it. I've ordered at least 5 things off Amazon. I've forgotten.
I mostly ordered from the app though, and I don't know if it connects.
Oh, I don't know either. I use both app and web. It depends where I am.
It depends what I'm searching for as well. If I'm doing a deep dive into something for like an event, or I need something, you need to be doing research, you need multiple tabs open, then it's desktop. Oh, what are we talking about?
I love talking about how we shop. Sorry guys. This is my favorite thing.
For people that hate capitalism, we sure do.
I know, we love buying things.
Sure do put a lot into the economy.
But the thing is, you have to buy things anyway. Like, even if there was no money, we would still trade. Like, you have to. And it's still fun. There's a reason that when you're little, like when you're in the Argos catalogue, you see that those trolleys. Do you remember they used to have? I never had one. Did you have one? Like a fake shopping centre?
Really, we didn't shop at Argos. I didn't understand the concept of Argos until I was sorry.
That's hilarious, because I loved Argos.
It wasn't somewhere that we went as kids, or but our parents got stuff at. So I didn't realize that Argos was not a physical store where you could go and just browse. Obviously, it's a physical catalogue. So I did not understand that, I think, until maybe I moved to London and I went to an Argos.
Oh my, that's so cute.
Okay, I'm learning a lot here. It's Natalie in the big city.
IKEA?
I didn't really. Also, IKEA wasn't something that I had a lot of exposure to until I came down to London and was buying stuff for university.
Okay, I'm showing my ass now because I'm a Croydon baby. You know, there's a massive IKEA in Croydon. So everything in our house was from IKEA. Like everything. It's down the road.
I feel like it took a while. We have a massive IKEA it's like in Warrington. So that's the closest one to us, but that wasn't. Maybe that came into effect when I was a teenager.
Okay, fair.
And I just didn't need anything at that point until I went to university.
It's also funny what you said about Argos, because like I feel like for a lot of kids, or me especially, so we'd get the Argos catalogue delivered and we'd go through and say what we wanted. Right. It was like a fantasy. Nobody actually got the stuff. Like at Christmas, at Christmas. I mean, we went to like, did you ever have a Toys
R Us run? Yeah.
They like owned the market. I felt like they were the
totally. Yeah, that's where we went. I remember our dad would take us to Toys R Us for Christmas, and we'd be able to pick out our own gifts, and it was like the best day.
Best day of your life.
Better than Christmas Day.
And do you remember they used to have that bubble gum in a tube in like a... That was the only place we were allowed to eat that. I don't know if it's because I'm thinking about it now as an adult. It's probably because like chewing gum and bubble gum. If you let a kid have that, they'll stick it to that's your life ruined.
Or it's like just full of sugar.
Oh, honey, that wasn't the problem because I was definitely drinking.
For sure, it wasn't the problem in our house.
Yeah, I was having Fanta at the McDonald's drive-thru. So yeah, I was living life. And oh my God, do you remember those? This might again be more, well, let's say a Southern thing, because we had them when we would go to church on Sundays. There was a shop next door. This is in Tottenham, and they'd have, you know, those, and we'd have them at weddings, those juice cartons. So not Capri Suns. Capri Suns were like the delicious ones, but they'd also always have like a cardboard box full of just stackable juice cartons that snapped, the lids snapped off one another.
Yeah. Like it's kind of stuff that you would have in a school packed lunch when you were on a field trip. It was like a yogurt kind of shape, and you spiked it through the top with those tiny thin red straws.
And then once in a while you'd get one and it'd have no bloody straw, and then you'd have to pop it. Oh, those were the days. Okay.
Yeah.
The kids,
they certainly weren't giving you Capri Sun branded stuff.
No, Capri Sun was like a treat kind of thing. Yeah. Capri Sun is still a treat to me. I love Capri Sun so much.
Do you remember Sun Lollies, the triangle ones?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, delicious.
Oh, but saying it makes my teeth hurt. I think I had too many experiences. You know what I would do with those? I would
crunch them up until before you open them, so they were like a slush puppy, and then
oh my God, yes, nostalgia. Oh, if you weren't a 90s kid, sucks to be you, because it was lit. Oh my God.
And we didn't have social media, so
yeah, we just had Sunny Delight turning people's skin orange. So that was
Sunny Delight. Yeah,
I wish everyone could know what it is to live through a phenomenon of because I feel like that will never happen again. I mean,
how could it happen again? Also, how divisive it was. Like Sunny Delight. Are you Florida Sunny Delight or California? It's like, what's the difference? The color of the cap.
Yeah,
like,
that's
come on,
literally
guys.
it.
But we were a Florida.
Oh, really? We were California.
Yeah. Hey.
California was the light orange, right?
I think was Florida blue?
Oh, okay, we were Florida.
Blue top?
We were Florida. And the other one had a green top, right?
I think so. I don't know.
Oh my God, which was I remember when my mouth is watering like as if I'm going to be sick. I'm so sorry, listeners. Remember when they brought out the different flavors? They would... I don't think I've ever tasted a drink so bad.
It's called Sunny D. It's just sunshine. Just give us orange juice or whatever you're calling orange juice.
Orange juice with loads of sugar in it, but apparently enough colouring to change your physical appearance. Like you'd been to Willy Wonka's factory.
One other food stuff as well that was so massive. Do you remember BNBNs?
Oh, BNBN.
That song had kids in a chokehold, and so did the biscuits.
Shaky Jake.
I'm shaky.
Yeah, wibble, yup. Okay, my problem with
jingles
BNBN.
In the early 90s. What were you people on? You're really just phoning it in like, let's just repeat BN to a tune.
It was lit.
But Shaky Jake, that was great.
But okay, my thing with those things, the adverts were so big, and I had a BNBN once in a while, but the advertising spend did not match the market share, because
BNBNs were huge in our school.
What, for like 2 weeks, right?
It was, I feel it was longer than 2 weeks, but of course it was. But it's not as if it's one company and that they have one product. I don't know who owned BNBN, but it's going to be.
You're so right. I forget that like all these like biscuits are all owned by one
Procter and Gamble, McVitie. Yeah, it's like big corporations. So I think that they're all right on the marketing spend.
That's so sad. As you get older, you realize, corporations just own.
It's just not one Ma and Pa shop making fucking BNBNs,
and they just roll out a new biscuit every 6 months, and then they cut it.
This advert is going to make or break us. But we are going to put all of our money into it.
You're right. Oh my God.
Okay, but speaking of giant corporations and industrialization and capitalism, let's talk about the Gilded Age.
Yeah.
Because as we know, that is what the Gilded Age was all about. It was about a rapid period of growth and industrialization in the US that had a sinister underbelly because as we, nothing's really changed, guys, with politicians, bankers, industrialists all getting into bed with each other. They're all just colluding to make one another rich. And sure, we do have a lot of technological and industrial advancements going on at that time, and I suppose still now, but now I don't feel like the technological advances that we're having are because of government collusion and lobbyists, like maybe back then, because they were making the steam trains,
the railroads, and
back then. What I mean now I think that the same kind of thing. It's just that technological advances now are not really being driven by the government.
I don't think it ever was.
No, but I suppose what I'm saying is like back then it felt like that all these people like getting into bed together, at least there was something good coming out of it for the general public, maybe transportation that really opened doors.
I mean, it's just, this is the oldest trick in the book. Like if you want to build, you've got to grease some palms. Everybody knows it.
Yeah, and palms are greased.
It's just a myth that you don't have to in countries like England where actually this is why you can just give 100k to Priti Patel and no one cares about you. Do you know what upsets me about all that? And I know there's obviously stuff that's going on off the books that I don't hear about, because it's like you make the smallest donation to a party and the return is like so huge. I'm like, what else are you guys doing?
Yeah, because 100,000 feels in that scale quite small fry.
And then they get a contract worth millions or billions, and then it makes me think, what else? Is it more about securing jobs in the future? Like, what else are you guys doing? Or do you have other businesses that you have together? Because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Sorry, I just had like a pang of anxiety thinking like, please don't come and kill me. But it's not that deep, guys. We are not.
There are other people on the hit list before us.
Oh my God, yeah.
So
get that fast. No, joking.
But kind of not. So don't get anybody. Let me just be clear on that. Obviously, I don't want anybody to be got, but I don't. Well, I personally definitely don't want to be got.
Soon. Okay, and you better be on my team, Natalie. I'll be very disappointed with you, guys. Let me tell you.
Of course, I'll be on your team, but I just don't think that. As we've spoken about this, I feel many times before. I'm not sure how much of a survivor I am.
You are a survivor. Shout out to Destiny's Child. You are a survivor.
The soundtrack to our apocalypse.
I can already see it now. You in like a khaki pant with an open shirt.
So it's the apocalypse, but I've still had time to find a wardrobe that I've not got already.
Absolutely.
And
you're like walking. When did you get walking boots? You're like, never mind, Ruth. There are people coming. We haven't got time for this. I'm like, oh my God, this girl.
It does make me think now, though, I do need to increase my stamina for the inevitable moment when everybody turns on each other. I'm scared. Yeah.
I was walking up, and the thing is, I want to be in like a more inclusive group, like living out, when you like have to take over a warehouse. Yeah. Where there's going to be people of like different abilities and like physically you can do different things and different skills. Yeah. So I'm really like thinking like, what can I bring? And maybe I don't have that many skills really.
The entertainment.
There's only so much entertainment somebody needs. Actually, no,
we can put on a weekly. Yeah, you can sing. We can do a.
No, nobody wants out. imagine somebody singing off key during the apocalypse. I would boo. I'd be like,
we try and put live shows on of this podcast.
Like, oh my God, we just sit and we describe television shows to people and they don't understand anything we're saying.
Are you following along, guys?
No.
Okay, but so I guess that brings us nicely back to the main focus of this bloody infernal podcast. The TV show we watched. What were we talking about? Okay. Politics and politicians and industrialists,
politics and politicians
and lobbyists. So that you've got that on one side. In the States, it is, but then it's also about the conflict between old world and like a quote unquote old world, because as old as the US can be, the European settler side of the US can be.
Yeah.
There's the conflict between people that feel like they've established society and they've brought it over, and there's a pecking order, and there's, it's an exclusive circle of people, and then there's people that just have money. So when you have money, you can actually just get your way in anywhere.
It would be like if I made a shit ton. It's no joke, because England has kept a hold of classism like probably no other
nobody's
country
business. Yeah.
So like it would be like if I made a shit ton of money today and I went to like an exclusive club that's been open for hundreds of years, and then like I'm around a load of like lord and ladies, they're not gonna. I will always be new money.
Yeah.
Like 50 Cent said in a song, they call me new money. They say I have no class. I came from the bottom. And then I can't remember how it goes. But I know it ended him saying, bougie ass bitches, they can kiss my ass. This is how we do. Great song. Moving on.
Essentially the soundtrack or the synopsis of the Gilded Age.
It is. They honestly, there's no difference between this and 50 Cent's film Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yeah. So you've got who's
the
Ada?
Russells.
No, who are the not the Russells?
Oh, Old Money.
You've got Agnes Van. What's she called? Van
Brooks.
What's she
Van
called?
Ryan.
Van Ryan. Yeah. God, that is the way they spell Ryan. Have you seen that?
It's Nordic. Oh. Who knew?
Okay, so you've got Agnes Van Ryan, who is not really the head bitch in society, but in the show.
Would be Dutch, yeah. Because I thought van names were Dutch. God, I learn something new every day.
And then you've got the Brooks. So that's Cynthia Nixon. Shout out to Miranda.
Yeah.
Who were the old money on the street, 69th Street, I want to say.
I don't remember.
Who
69
knows?
Is a hilarious number. Always. Good choice.
And they've been watching across the road this ginormous house being built. And it's the Russells. Mr. Russell is I guess he's the industrialist. Does he also own a bank?
He owns and builds
all the rail. Yeah, but does he do anything else?
Have you played Monopoly? If you own all the train stations, you don't need.
You are cashing it in. True. For some reason, I felt like he was also a banker, but maybe he's not.
No.
He's just
he makes all his money from building train stations.
Yeah.
He actually builds what's the most famous station in New York?
Did he build Grand Central?
Yeah, that's what they're talking about in the show.
Yeah. And that's a scandal because they're all like, we already have a train station. We don't need another one.
Honey, you need 9. This city is too big, for goodness sake.
It's going to grow. If there's anything we know about cities and overpopulation and overcrowding, shout out to Grand Central Station though, because it is a gorgeous building.
Been inside.
Oh my God, it's gorgeous. It is.
The nicest train stations I've ever seen were in Berlin, but I can't
remember. Berlin, stunning. Germany in general, amazing. They know how to do a train station. Gorgeous.
They know how to do a lot of things. Which you won't talk about. I saw some incredible architecture in Berlin as well. I like it. It's such an industrial city as well. I like industrial cities with old buildings. I just think it's cool. Yeah. Moving on.
So should we start off with the Van Ryans and the Brooks?
I feel like we should
go start with the Russells. Okay.
Because I'm going to make stuff and then I'm going to keep going off.
Okay, hit me with a character.
Okay, we're going in order of the IMDb list, and we will explain who they are as we go down.
Well, we'll try, but
we'll start with the. In some ways, she's like the protagonist, but I would say the protagonists are Agnes Van Ryan and Mrs.
Marion.
Russell.
Oh, yeah. Marion,
Miss Brooks. No, I would say like she's actually a supporting character.
Supporting
because they're both like the head honcho. One represents old money, one represents
true.
Money.
Even though Agnes Van Ryan isn't really the person that has the deciding say in society.
No, but
but would we say she's the Lady Danbury? She's not at all. Lady Danbury was way cooler. Although I actually do like Agnes Van Ryan.
I actually love her. I can't lie. I know she's problematic as fuck, but I really, really, I ride for that woman. Yeah. We'll start with okay. So this is in order on IMDb, so it's just like who had the most appearances or whatever, and then I'm sure they put them in alphabetical order or something. No, they don't. I don't know. Probably screen time. So the first person to come up is Mrs. Russell. Mrs.
Bertha Russell.
Bertha,
one and only.
Heard I got called that. Now I'm going to go all over the place. You might have to stop me. She's somewhat of a tyrant in her household, I mean. Considering she's new money, like she's very old school. But then that's very, you can be like, it's like, you know, when you meet people who are like quote unquote middle class or working class, but they're like super traditional. Like your status doesn't actually, station or whatever the fucking people call it, your class doesn't always reflect like your values, if that makes sense.
She's very conservative.
Yeah, she's super conservative.
And that doesn't, just because she doesn't know all of the right rules, she's a quick study and she's learning fast.
Yeah, she's very traditional. She's very morally led, I would say. You can tell she's loyal, but she's also like, I would
Is she morally led?
Yeah. Like her morals might not be right, but she has them. Like
can you have bad moral? Can you say somebody is moralistic, but if they are, I suppose but by bad morals.
She's led by her, no, she has a strong moral compass, I would say.
But a moral compass suggests that you've got a good...
No, I don't think so. She doesn't seem like the kind, she's not as judgy as the old money women. Do you know what I mean? She gives
she's not more. True. But she's not afraid to cut a bitch down.
No,
she'll give you the second chance. But she can't afford to not give people chances because she needs to climb the ladder. But I feel like when she's at the top of the ladder, she's not going to give a shit.
No, you're right.
I don't see that kind of compassion in her.
Yeah.
Everything's very calculated.
Yeah.
And I do think that she loves her husband, but she's not very empathetic towards him.
I think she is. I felt like she was being unfairly judged for that in the show.
I think that she wants... She puts... I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but she's putting what she wants up for her and her family and what she believes is right, and also not just because she wants that, but it's going to inevitably support the husband's
business.
But that she kind of, I suppose, puts that above almost all else. And if people, even in the family, get hurt or if feathers are ruffled, it's kind of like, this is for the greater good thing. I'm not saying that she doesn't love her family dearly. And
no, you're right.
But she shows it by...
was it her that decided that her daughter can't marry who she wants? That was her, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's cutthroat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's obsessed. The whole show is just about her obsession to climb into good society.
Yeah, and there are points at which I think that her husband is going through it a bit with when he's being framed for
for derailing a train.
Yeah, that old chestnut. And she again just puts her own agenda ahead of comforting him.
But the reason I'm not that pressed about that is only because there was a point where I was like, now you're doing too much, because like
it was all up at I can't remember at what point it was, but there was something where I was like,
she went to she was going to the Red Cross thing, and he was like, no, she went out into the country,
or that fireworks thing.
God, there's so we've just named 3 times.
Oh no, or was it when Thomas Edison, that when they were turning on the light bulbs?
No, but all 3 of those occasions, she was not supporting her husband, honestly, and he was like, God damn.
Which is kind of, I suppose, good to not good to see, but it breaks from the trope of the woman always having to support the husband and be there for the husband. It's kind of like they both got roles. His is out there to make the money in business, and hers is to ensure that he can do. She's facilitating that, so she's not going to like kind of mollycoddle him and drop everything to.
But she's a rider. She's a ride or die. Remember when he was like, I could lose everything, and she was like, we'll build it again. Oh, that's what I'm looking for.
Of course. So she is very loyal, and she is in it with him, and she does love him, and she does believe in him and trust him. But
her
doesn't take it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I kind of got the feeling that while he was building that empire, she would have been backing him 100%. It's not like it kind of seemed like them moving into that house, like her wanting to build that house, move into it, and then climb into society felt like her chance. Do you know what I mean? It didn't.
Right. She's put in the hard yards until that
now
point.
It's my time to shine, because they've got 2 kids. He was not at home with those kids raising them. She was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They weren't always rich.
Yeah.
But shout out to Mrs. Russell, you deviant bitch. Wow,
where did the wardrobe as well? I sometimes think like, how?
Oh my God,
how much time in a day do people have? Because I can't even.
You need an hour in the morning, and then you brush your hair at night, ready for bed.
But there's several looks in a day.
They also have ladies' maids.
True, but then in the running around from town, and I suppose at that point New York was, or Manhattan was a lot smaller than it is now.
And getting somewhere takes so long that you're just doing one thing
because of traffic, of course. Now, I mean, back then.
No, even then, like you're going by fucking horse and carriage. Like, how many? You're not city hopping. You're not jumping off the tube. You're not getting an Uber. You're going to one place, and you're coming back. Then maybe you're going out in the evening.
Or having people around. You might be calling on different places. I don't know. Anyway, wardrobe was phenomenal.
One thing to do.
She knew how to pull a look.
I think that her nighttime wardrobe was, for me, that's what did it. Her daytime wardrobe was okay.
Gorgeous.
Her nighttime looks,
yeah.
I can see how
that house as well. I find it so.
It was nice.
Yeah, but
it was a bit too big for me.
Weird to. It was colossal.
Yeah.
For a city, I find it so strange to think about.
Yeah. I've been in houses like that in Nigeria only, where like you'll get houses that have just been built where they've made them so, or like, I don't think I've
not within the center of like Manhattan or in London, because something like that would have probably been carved up into separate flats, or it would be a commercial building.
They're not as big, but you can still get, okay, you know, when you're on High Street, Kensington, going towards Shepherd's Bush, before you get to Shepherd's Bush, there are still houses like that. They're not as big. And there are still houses
sure
like
there
that,
are. It's just,
that I would never go
I
into.
can't comprehend that here and now, and people living like that now, but I guess it happens.
Oh, no, not like that. But the only reason I brought up Nigeria is because that's, like, there's sometimes I'll go into someone's house in Nigeria and I'm just like, it's only happened, I think, twice, where I'm just, because the houses are generally bigger. If you have money, your house is quite big.
Yeah.
But there was 2 houses, like there was this house, like one of my cousin's neighbours, she said we could shoot something there. So we went in to like greet her. You know how you have to greet before you can do something. So she said, that's just like good manners. Yeah. So we went to greet, and like, honestly, I couldn't even fake it. Because from the front, it looks like everybody else's house. Then you're walking in and she has like a pool, and you realize how long and you're just like, how big is this house? And then you get in the house and it's like, and imagine it's like her husband and one of her kids who's maybe moved back home. The house is huge. And it's just like, I'm like, first of all, are you not scared? And maybe there's people out there who are used to growing up in big houses and stuff, so they won't really get it. But like,
no, I'd be scared on my own in a house that big.
But she's just chilling in the living room, and she's like tiny as well, so it just makes it even funnier for me. I'm like, you don't need this space. Yeah, it's insane. It's just crazy to me, especially because if you think about it from front, like imagine if you were going into Mrs. Russell's house or whatever, you saw it from the outside, you probably think, because those houses all kind of look the same from the front. You probably thought, oh, like that looks quite big. Then you go in and you're in that their foyer.
The atrium, yeah.
Oh my, I would shit a brick. I'd be like, where am I? That house.
It's a palace. I think somebody described it as a palace, and it really was.
It is it's literally a palace. And then the first time they went into the ballroom, it reminded me of like the animated Anastasia.
Oh, yes.
It's just ridiculous. I don't know. Like it's not.
And just the idea that you have a ballroom, because that's not our life now. But I suppose in like high society, that probably is people's lives.
No, like even then, like very few people have a house that big, because they were all shocked when they went in the house. It's like even people with money don't have houses that big.
But I think it would be like that in England. Like if we talk about Bridgerton, how they all had ballrooms because they all had everybody threw a ball at a different time, and that's just not the world that we live in now, or the world we live in. Some people maybe still go to balls all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, because you still have like debutantes and stuff, don't you? In New York. Yeah. You don't remember from Gossip Girl?
Of course I do. Cotillion. Yeah. No, sorry, that was Yossi.
Oh yeah, you're right. I think I remember Cotillion from some fucking weird teenage book. And I was like, what is that? Yes, because we did it in English. I think I even mentioned Cotillions in the Bell Jar. Anyway.
Should we move on from Mrs. Russell?
Yeah, we're on to her baby daddy.
Oh, Mr. Russell. Hotty hot.
Honey, Mr. Russell. Mr. Russell. Could get it. Okay.
And again, a loyal man. He's very loyal to Bertha.
I love that, like, if the bar is so low for men, if, like, your wife's handmaiden or maid or whatever you want to call her jumps in your bed and you're like, hey, get out of here. You're like, oh, my God, what an honourable man. He doesn't even back outside his marriage.
Like, wow, the lady's maid got naked in his bed and he was like, no, thank you. Like, what are we clapping at? That's the bare minimum.
That's the bare minimum. Him and Mrs. Russell had tension though. You could tell he was still knocking that down for sure. Sorry if you don't like my crude phrasing, guys, but it's true.
I mean, when he asks if he can stay in her room.
Yeah.
I'd quite like that though. Do you know what I mean? Like separate rooms, just we can come together when we come together if we want to on my terms.
Absolutely.
But I don't have to, I can just sleep on my own.
I would like that too.
Or I could sleep with you and we can share a bed when we want to share a bed, but not every night.
I think it's fair for your sex life.
I think it must be.
Yeah.
I have no personal experience to corroborate that, but I feel like there's studies that I won't read that could back us up on that.
I'm sure I've seen a headline in Cosmo. So
I want separate bedrooms, separate bathrooms, maybe even separate houses.
Who can afford that?
Would you rather have a separate bedroom or a separate bathroom?
I don't mind us having a shared bathroom, but I have to have my own toilet in the house.
Oh, a separate one.
Yeah, from anybody. Ideally, I'm talking ideally.
Yeah.
But even if I didn't, and people say I'm doing too much, but I just don't, because having my longest term boyfriend, obviously we were more in a stage straight from the beginning where, because of something that happened, which I won't go into because it's kind of gross and embarrassing, but like it was basically each other's toilet habits wasn't crazy to us. Do you know what I mean? And I do think it kills the sex a bit. It didn't. We were going at it, but it's still.
I suppose there's still some mystery that we'd like to keep.
Yeah, I would. So even if I was with someone and we lived in a small place, I would. That's one thing where I'm just like, I need my own.
You'd insist on a separate, at least if it's not bathroom, toilet.
I don't care if we have to build a toilet in the garden. Like, yeah, I need that to myself.
I'm sure there were no shortage of toilet. Actually, they probably wouldn't have had Would they have had toilets back then, or would it still be
not flushing,
chamber pot?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they would have had something, but it definitely didn't flush or anything. I'm going to Google toilet in the 1900s.
Sanitation, yeah.
God, this is like a school project. Do you
1870 to 1900. Yeah, so not 1900s.
Oh, I put in toilet in 1900 America. But I should have put, I'm going to go.
Well, it's fine. I'm sure the article will tell you when the modern day toilet came into effect.
I'm going to go 1890. Am I being dumb? No, that's right. Oh
yeah,
my God, it's the, God, they had, these toilets remind me of, I can't remember what area it is in London that had them forever. Those, you know, the ones with the
flush, yeah,
the top flush. There's something, I love those toilets. I don't know. The flush is always so strong. Like, well, I bet those toilets never need a plumber.
But I bet I don't bet. I know that they're probably such a huge waste of water. Unless you can get one that has the secondary flush, because now we've got the two. Why are we talking about this?
It's fun.
Now you've got the one button for a little flush for and then the big flush for.
Thank you. Okay. I'm not joking. Up until I think it was yesterday, I was saying to myself, I still don't know what these two flush buttons are for.
Oh, there you go.
You know what I do? I press them both.
That's fine for when you want a big flush to flush everything out of the way. But if it's just a wee, then one.
You know me and my toilet anxiety. I need 20 flushes. Even if it's just a wee, I'm like, get it out of. No one must know.
Some
of these toilets look like manual ceramic pots, but then some of them have flashing devices.
Yeah, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're wasting our minutes, Mr. Russell's minutes on talking about toilets.
But he was like a big head honcho and he was hot. Yeah, I get it. And he was extreme. He was doing too much with his son, but we can get to that later. Okay, then we get to Miss Marion Brooke.
Oh, Miss Marion Brooke, the ingenue, would we say?
I don't know what that means.
The girl next door, the kind of naive girl about town.
What a phrase to complicate. That's so ironic.
And yeah, she was the girl next door to the Russells.
Yeah, she was hot too.
She's a very comely woman, should we say?
He's got vulgarity to yourself.
Is that vulgar?
I'm sorry.
Quite sure that I'm speaking exactly how they would have spoken. Let me just
but now that sounds wild. Comely. Okay.
It's like she was homely, pleasant to look at, attractive.
Yeah.
But I suppose more in a
sweet
wholesome kind of way. Yeah.
At first she wasn't doing it for me. I was like, oh, who is this girl mourning her dad dies and leaves her with nothing basically, and she has to go and live with her rich aunts.
But she meets a lawyer. That also I just felt was weird, because at the beginning when she was settling up with the lawyer, Mr. Rakes, who we will get to,
hate him.
In Philadelphia or in Pennsylvania, whichever small town they were in, it didn't feel like she was into him at all.
Her father had just died.
I know, and I'm not saying that you're at the reading of the will of your father, like
looking
out here trying to get some dick.
Okay, he's hot.
She obviously, was not in the that kind of frame of mind, but it still felt a bit when he was like, "Oh, maybe we'll see each other." He was pushing it, and she was like, "Sir, shut up! I actually never really want to see you again."
She was also like, I feel like she's quite innocent, so she's like a bit like.
Yeah, didn't realise that he was putting it on.
Not just that, it's the equivalent of now.
Of course, it's
if you go and you get a service done or something, and the person who offers you the service is like, oh, maybe we'll see each other again.
It's exactly the same as that. It's not the equivalent of. That's the same. It's exactly. Imagine if you were at a legal appointment and you were having some legal documents read, and even worse if somebody has passed away and the lawyer tries to make a move on you.
That's a mess. And he's like, well, I'm coming to New York soon. That happens all the time though. More with like people like mechanics or taxi drivers. They always, and it's just like, no.
With lawyers, are you just trying to squeeze some more hours out of this, some more billable hours?
It's always difficult with a quote unquote professional to know if they're trying on with you. It's like you think they might be, but you're also like, maybe they're not. Do you know what I mean?
Out of professional integrity, they really shouldn't be. So
Maybe.
you're like, well, you can't be making a move because that would be super, super unethical.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Marion brushes off the guy, goes to live with her two aunts. One's a widow, one's a spinster.
Sorry.
Saying it how it is. These are just facts.
And their dad, they hate the dad. They hate their brother, basically.
They hate their brother because he just squandered all the money.
Inheritance,
and Agnes then had to marry for money to protect the family, to basically look after the family.
Yeah.
And Mr. Ryan did sound like a bit of a prick.
But it's funny because his daughter didn't know until he died. Like, because she'd been living a nice life, she just probably thought they were still rich. She didn't know that he'd like remortgaged and then sold the house.
Yeah.
God, every family has a man like that. No shade to this day.
So before we get to New York, Marion meets Peggy, who will become her dear friend. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess they're friends.
Yeah. No.
They are friends.
They have a sisterly bond.
Yeah. And she loses her train ticket. Like a messy bitch.
Yeah. My phone's died and I can't get on my train like that.
Yeah, she's very naive that she didn't clock, she didn't realise that this was a fake fight intended to steal her purse.
I didn't clock it, I don't think.
Okay, well, it would be you. You didn't? Did you think that she'd misplaced her ticket? The men made off with it. They had a fake brawl.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh no. And then she's lost a ticket. Or maybe I'm just reading too much into it.
No, you're not. I didn't get it. I thought she just lost a ticket. Okay. You're right. I just didn't know.
But Marion also wants to, I guess, cause a bit of trouble. But when she was living back in Pennsylvania, she must still have it may not have been New York high society, but she still must have been living in some kind of society life. But it seems that she doesn't understand the rules. She doesn't get it at all.
It's like it would be in Bridgeton the equivalent of growing up in the city or growing up in the country. Like there are still
I think if you grew up in the country, you would still know the rules.
No, the city's sharper. It's more strict. And there's loads of unsaid things because it's not that Marion didn't know the rules. She just wanted to know why people were being ostracized and cast out. She didn't get the mean girl side.
Yeah, I would have thought
not like
in the country
she still knew she couldn't just make out with some guy. She'd never kissed a man. Do you know what I mean?
But that wasn't necessarily society. That was also at the times.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if I'm working class, I'm fucking. I don't give a fuck. I'm not being poor and not having sex. It's not happening. Rules I live by to this day.
But Marion wants to, she wants to have a career. She wants to have something more than just, well, if not
Marion,
a career.
Do you mean Peggy?
No, Marion, she wants to, not a career. Peggy wants a career. Peggy wants to make something for herself. Marion just wants something.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to just be cooped up at home and not doing anything and waiting for people to call on her. She still wants to have like her hobbies and stuff and do charity work maybe.
And I think that the real problem is her aunt is way stricter than her dad, basically.
Because you're right, but that's because her dad, no shade to that man, but I don't think he really gave a shit. He was too busy probably spending the money and worrying about the fact that he had no money.
People who waste money are usually the most fun. I should know.
But Mrs. Ryan is, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we should just wait until we get to her. I'm trying to think if, she was very strict, but she also was
for a reason.
Yeah, she was having. It wasn't unnecessarily. She wasn't cruel.
No, she was
sometimes I felt
Kate
like
from season
Bertha. 2. Yes, of course. Yeah, she was trying to protect people. Bertha was her intention. Sorry, that's Mrs. Russell. If you were,
don't call her Bertha.
I know. I'm sorry. Who am I to call her?
How dare you?
Proper names, please. Bertha was doing things. Sorry.
Who's
Mrs. Russell was. Her motives were to climb society ranks, climb the ladder, whereas Mrs. Ryan was, protecting the family name, but also protecting the people.
Oh no, she was protecting the people she loved. She also knew from having money, like what comes with it. Like basically, she knows a gold digger from a mile away.
Like, she spots that totally. Yeah, because she was one.
Hey. A hardworking woman, if you ask me. Okay.
But she's also, for as much as she's very high society, she's more open-minded than a lot of. Oh, true. Sorry.
We'll be here all night, honey.
Do we have anything else to say about Marion?
No.
Do we want to talk about? We'll get to the situation with Mr. Rakes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else to talk about?
No, she's a sweet girl. Her dad died. She moved into the city, and she just didn't get why everyone was outcast. But we'll get to them when we get to the characters. Peggy Starr is next.
Peggy, we love Peggy.
Peggy Scott, in this show, and like Bridgerton, racism is very much alive and kicking. So Peggy Scott is basically a Black working woman who is also from high society, but she obviously for segregation, she's from Black high society. Her dad's super strict, you know the vibes. We all do. He's like, you're absolutely not working. What's wrong with you? She gets married to a guy beneath her station, and her dad, who is. Should we wait till we get there? Because I feel like it's too much of a big thing. Her dad steals her child and gives her child.
I think we need to talk about it now because I'm not sure if we're going to get.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. But he also doesn't tell her that the child is alive. He pretends and makes everybody act like the child died.
Oh my God!
So he's a real terror. And what were you doing it for?
Because he wants to give her a chance to start again.
Yeah, but
so she can marry someone who's like more on her level.
So that he can have more of a controlling aspect of her life.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to look stupid. Controlling parents, and I'm sure we all know this, it's never about sometimes it's about what's best for you, but it's also about what's best for them, how it makes them look.
Yeah.
But then it's also sometimes because of the world that they've come from, they know how inflexible people can be, so they just don't want you to have to struggle. But it's usually also just a safe face for them.
But then Peggy she is going out and she is with or without her family, she's going to be all right. She's going to make something of herself. So she could have made something of herself with and had the family that she had.
I don't think she would be doing what she's doing now. I think she would have gone to writing eventually, but I think she would have just been more focused on raising her baby.
Yeah, so perhaps maybe life could have been a bit harder because she would have had a child and then also a husband.
She should never. This is what pisses me off about people with money acting like your choices are making you poor. You could just give me the money.
It's like your choices are making me poor, actually.
Thank you. If we really want to get into it. No resentment here. Ha ha ha.
And also we shouldn't forget, we talk a lot about spouses being there and helping, being kind of the backbone that enables a lot of business people to make their money, or not just business people, anybody, professionals, anybody that has that if you're not even making money, but doing whatever.
Everything
if you're working
and it's just
that's supporting you, and they're kind of the unsung heroes. But often it's also the children that are really pulling their weight at home too. It's not just. Do you know what I mean? We have to give children their due. Sometimes the kids get protected, and that by the spouse that's at home. And oftentimes it's a family effort to help facilitate that life is easier and life is good for the person that's actually going out there and kind of making money. But nobody really talks about the whole effort of the family and what the part the kids play
and your family building you up. Even to this day, in modern society, a family is a status symbol. So like having a family that know how to carry themselves and choose to toe the line for you is that they're making a sacrifice.
Yeah. Not that we are bitter in any way. Well, speaking from experience. No, I'm speaking from experience.
I just honestly want, because I feel like I've always thought of myself as like quite a free spirit and stuff, because all the things I've done, it's always been honed in like that's rebellious behavior or whatever. But then it kind of, when you look at it from another perspective, from the outside looking in, it's just like, I haven't even fucking touched the sides. Like, did I really even live? Did I really, like, do you know what I mean?
I haven't for sure.
It's like, I didn't know, but like, it's only recently, the way I'm looking at myself is shifting slightly. It's just like, anyway.
We're not talking about our lives. This is not a card special.
Watching these shows brings up
stuff, yeah.
Guys,
and then dissecting it after.
Yeah, you're like,
sorry, who are we talking about? Peggy, right?
Exactly. We can't even remember. She basically she becomes a journalist. It's just about her being a Black woman trying to navigate the working world. Again, still a problem. Being good enough to get a job, and then the people that you're taking a job from want you to like literally pretend to be a white man to get your stories published, because they're like, nobody's gonna like it if they know you're right.
Also, even in the Van Ryan house, she's obviously a well-respected person, but she's the help. She lives downstairs.
Oh, she's like the highest of the help. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
she's the most autonomous. She doesn't serve, if that makes sense. No shade to people who serve. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying it's like it's a different job.
Yeah.
But then it's just she's assumed to be like poor because she's doing that, but it just shows like she's like she has money and she's back, but then when she enters the white world, she immediately has to be a servant, which is why people always say like work for Black companies.
So she has to Peggy pays for Marion's ticket from Pennsylvania to New York because Marion loses a ticket and can't afford a new one and probably wouldn't even know where to get one. And when they get to the Van Ryan house, obviously, you know, Agnes and Ada are like, thank you so much, show some gratitude. You must stay. It's far too late to get to Brooklyn at this time. Have some dinner, stay the night, but it's known that you're going to be downstairs.
Yeah.
If you're that was a white person, she would have been invited upstairs. She would have been at the table with the Van Ryans. You know,
I mean, someone of her like education or whatever. But if she'd been like,
if she'd a Black working class person, of course.
No, I mean, if she'd been white working class, I reckon.
So that's what I mean. Yeah, if she'd been exactly.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah,
classism, sexism. Sorry, well, yeah, sexism, I guess, but classism, racism still rife. That's after this woman has paid for your daughter, your niece's ticket from Pennsylvania. Otherwise, Marion would have been fucked.
Yeah, but to be honest, obviously it's not like that. We don't live in segregated times, but it is still like that a bit. Like when, say, if you go to your friend, like this used to be like in school, like you go to like a white friend's house that you've never been to, and they're like, "Oh, hello!" Like their mum's like, "Oh, hello!" And it's just like, no shade, but my house is nicer than yours. Keep it moving, honey. Not that I've ever been a snob. I've always been a humble servant of the Lord. Next is Gladys Russell.
Okay, yeah. Poor meek Gladys Russell. Just overshadowed by
like 50.
Mrs. Russell.
Mrs. Russell needed to leave her the fuck alone. Though.
She wasn't 15 though, was she? I think she was
like 20, wasn't she?
Because she'd been kept back. Mrs. Russell kept holding her back, holding back her entrance into society until it suited Mrs. Ryan, until they had enough pull to fill a ballroom, until the house was finished. Like what's her face? Gladys should have been out, I guess, like, 5 years prior, maybe not
and
quite
she
that.
hadn't developed as an adult, because that's why she's so naive.
Because she'd been, she's a little bit stunted.
Sheltered. Yeah, sheltering your children is never good because they just grow up dumb and naive. Yeah. I should know.
And the governess that tried to help her, well, she paid for it with her job.
Did she try and help her? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the lady's maid who tried to fuck Mrs. Russell's husband and set up Gladys to be what do you call it? I can't remember. Next, we have another...
To marry Oscar Van Ryan. Yeah.
Next, we have another babe in the Russell family. Oh, and also, I'll say that Gladys was... I don't think Gladys should have married that guy she barely knew, but she should have had a chance to date him. She didn't marry anybody. No, but she wanted to get married to that guy, and then her dad...
That was very strange. I was like, where did this guy even come from? When did you meet this guy? Was that when the
governess was sneaking her off to sea?
But how did she meet him in the first place? Maybe I missed that. Maybe I blinked and missed that.
No, I don't remember either. But it's not that crazy because like she still leaves the house. She's not like under house arrest.
Yeah, I suppose, and she still has a chaperone.
Yeah, like you can walk through the park and see a boy. It wouldn't have been a boy, it'd have been a man. I keep forgetting she just seems like a child. She's actually an adult. That's so messed up. I think that's called abuse these days. So, okay. Mrs. Russell, get your pussy together.
Next, she would have been the same age or maybe a bit younger than Marion. Or maybe Marion's a bit older. But you know what I mean? It's Marion was naive, but Gladys was on another level.
No, Gladys was... I thought she was a child. I genuinely thought she was a child.
And they amped that up by making her look even more kind of doll-like. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Even in the way that they styled her hair, Marion always had her hair up like a lady, whereas Gladys always had it down and curly like a doll. Yeah.
I also thought it was just... I don't get why they did that to that guy. And I thought in that case, Mr. Russell acting like it wasn't up to him, like he's just doing what his wife wanted. I'm like, no, that's your decision as well. You have to back that because you're like, she might never like find someone again just because. Anyway, I thought that was messy.
It was messy.
And it's like you said, it's the difference between Mrs. Russell and Mrs. Van Ryan. And like, at least Mrs. Van Ryan was sending people away because she thought they were shady, not just because she didn't like them. Then again, she did.
Not
she was
because they were higher, not high enough in.
Yeah. Larry Russell, another
little baby Larry, but not baby.
He was a baby.
No, because he was. I'm saying he was a young man. He was a sweetheart. He was.
Yeah.
He was a very
obviously not as sexy as his
young
father,
man.
But honey, you're gonna always.
He's got time.
Oh,
he could grow into that.
I really want him and
Marion
to get together.
It's too obvious, but everything about the show is obvious.
Oh well, I don't get why they didn't have a moment now. They should have introduced a storyline where he likes her a bit more. I don't want to see friends to lovers. I want to see pining.
No, I think it will be a bit more of Marion's done with pining. I think now it'll be. No, I think it's more like because I think she's tested the waters. No, yeah, but he's too busy actually thinking about what he wants to do with his life and stepping out of his father's shadow.
He spent a lot of time smiling into the fucking distance.
He came around to the house quite a bit. I think they are laying the ground.
I'm saying they should have gone further.
They're sharing stories. It's all very tame.
It's too tame. I wanted lust.
Well, it's a very, very tame show, the whole thing. And the ending was a bit like whatever. Even the whole thing, and I know we'll speak about it when Mr. Rakes comes up, but the whole thing with Mr. Rakes and Marion, it's all very, very PG. Not even PG, it's like universal.
Even the Disney Channel know how to sell lust, for goodness sake, or longing, or liking someone.
Yeah, there's not a lot of longing at all.
I hate sudden love. Oh God.
Like, oh wait, yeah. I like you.
I do like you.
I love you. Yeah, Gladys is the only one that's showing an ounce of like, but maybe that's a deliberate on the writer's part, that the person that shows that kind of love is the youngest, kind of is immature. It's like everybody else is kind of either buttoned up in society or doing their own thing, or they realize that love is or marriage and matches are a thing of business and convenience, or there's a reason to it beyond simply love. And
I don't think people that love, except for the people who've been married. Everyone who's unmarried doesn't seem to have that kind of cynicism. Except
everybody that's unmarried is children, like comparatively. They're all quite young and naive.
Nixon's character.
Yeah, poor Ada.
I don't feel bad for her. She's all right. Oh, do you mean what happened to her?
Just in terms of, she might have wanted love, but I think she got to a certain age. Oh God, I feel like I identify with Ada. Where she's like,
stop counting yourself out, man. It's not the 1900s anymore.
Of course, and it's our season. Soon to be starting.
Okay, that's
who will be on? Larry. Yeah, sweet boy. I really hope that he does get to be an architect, because his dad should have a bit more respect for that craft, given like the house and the like fucking Grand Central Station. It's like, what do you think that an architect is, like a bum job or an artist? He's not asking you. He's not like Benedict being like, I want to be an artist. Benedict Bridgerton, guys, not from this show. He's asking to be in a credible long-term career that has a lot of creative value, that's putting something out there into the world that his father will have need of.
Exactly.
So I don't understand why. Maybe it's just because he feels like there's not going to be anybody to kind of pick up the mantle.
Yeah, he wants and keep it in the family. CEO, but he'll get one who can also design his station. So calm it down, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So there you go. That's Larry Lazar.
Yeah, I really want him. If him and Marion aren't fucking next season, I'm going to be pissed.
No, they're going to wait till marriage.
Oh. Okay.
If Mr. Rakes could keep it in his pants.
Okay, do you know what? They're not. But he's disgusting.
Or maybe that will be the biggest scandal, actually.
We'll get to it. Next is Oscar Van Ryan.
I liked Oscar.
But he's a villain. He is a villain.
But there has to be a villain, and there's always, I guess, is it a lovable villain? I guess.
I don't know. He's one of the best characters.
That you're rooting for him, because he's the one that you want to actually go out drinking with.
Yeah,
I bet he'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, to be honest, that whole family, imagine being with him and his mum for an afternoon. It would be fun as hell. They're all right. They're a good time.
Yeah.
They're probably the most fun family.
Because they get on with each other. I feel like everybody knows Oscar's deal.
No, they don't. They definitely don't. They definitely don't.
Do you not think that Mrs. Van Ryan on some level?
I don't think it's alluded to. Because she thinks that Oscar is sleeping with the lady's maid.
Oh, of course.
Russell's lady's maid.
Yeah.
So nobody knows. So Oscar basically has a lover who is called, oh fuck, I'm never going to find it. I'm sorry. Is that his name?
I don't know.
Let's call him that for now. Let's make up a name for him.
The doctor?
Is he a doctor?
Maybe he's not. I don't know.
No, he might be. I thought he was just another rich man.
Because he comes calling on, he comes to the house and everyone's like, oh, look, meet Marion. Because they're trying to push those two together for a hot second.
Oh my God. Somebody, for, it's called Them is the website. I've never heard of it. And the title is...
reputable source.
An ode to Oscar, the refreshingly boring gay villain of the Gilded Age.
That is accurate, yeah, but not. Yeah. I mean, refreshingly boring is maybe a bit far, but I feel like that's almost a good way to describe the entire show. I absolutely loved it, but it is a little bit. If you compare it to other shows
period dramas.
It's not there wasn't loads of scandal. It wasn't racy. I don't feel like there was loads of major like plot stories going on. Maybe it's a slow burner and they're really building up for something. But don't get me wrong, I like the show. It's easy to watch, and I think it's just maybe that's all it's supposed to be. But if you compare it to like Downton Abbey, which is made by the same, created by the same guy, Julian Fellows, that was scandals, boom, 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 straight from the get-go.
There are scandals. It's just they didn't even hit the sides for me. I was just like, oh, that's a bit messed up. Next.
But maybe, is that because we're just expecting something a bit more salacious?
Yeah. And I think it's the lack of sex for me.
Oh my God, we've been desensitized.
No, sex makes things more like, oh, like without sex, it's just like, okay, this isn't realistic. And like
all the longing looks, let's be clear, because...
Yeah. And Oscar's whole deal is obviously he's a gay man who has to, he doesn't have to. This is what makes him a villain. He's under no pressure by society. He is purposefully looking for a wife to...
I think he is under pressure by society because
he says he is, but he's... Other characters, normally when somebody's under pressure, they're being asked, when are you getting married? Where's your wife? Da, 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 da. It's never
it's only a matter of time before people will potentially start questioning.
That's what he's saying.
And so that's a valid reason for him to be like, shit, I need to get married so that I can keep having my relationship.
Yeah, but him obviously like looking to marry Marion is just messed up. Gladys, sorry, because it's like because she's young and naive.
She wants love. She's a sucker for love. Yeah.
And then it's again, I don't know how many times I can watch it. The whole I'm gay, so I'm a villain thing. Like me being gay is villainous. Like I get it. It's the sign of the times or whatever, but he's still a great character because he's actually got a personality, which is more than I can say.
Not refreshingly boring. I think he's.
I think
in the point that he's not that overtly gay, kind of scandalous coming into. He's not like a caricature of himself.
Having just skim read it, I think they were alluding to the fact that he wasn't. At first, you think you're going to hate him, and then you're like, actually, he's really sweet, and it's nothing really that deep going on. Like, not really,
Which I feel like there's no real full villain development.
No, and I don't think that ever will be. If anything, I think he'll go more towards a hero side.
I mean, in general, for the whole, not just regarding Oscar. In general, the whole series.
I meant Oscar.
Yeah, I think. In general, there's no like you are a villain.
Yeah, they're all quite nice. They're just old.
I mean, I suppose Peggy's dad is a bit in that.
I know it sounds messed up, but what he did. That's what I mean. What he did should have been like, oh my God, how could you? And what he did was mental, but I still didn't think he was that bad. He just seemed like an overbearing, annoying father.
I think nothing felt that wild because it's all fairly predictable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was nothing, even if there was sex in it, I'd have been like...
Truth be told, I thought that she knew that her child had been given up for adoption. So when she told, I think I just misunderstood, when she told Mrs. Van Ryan that her child was dead, I thought she was lying to save face. I didn't understand. Yeah. And I was like, oh, is that like a real scandal?
No, she's got integrity. She's got honesty. If there's one thing that she's not going to do is lie. If she thought she's not going to try and save face, not with the Van Ryans.
Yeah. Next, we're on to the real villain of the show. He is a villain.
Mr. Rakes.
Mr. Rakes.
What's his first name?
Tom.
I
hate that name.
Mr. Tom Rakes.
Oscar Van Ryan, can I just say, is a gorgeous name. I'm a beautiful man.
It is, yeah. Tom Rakes, very, very handsome. Tom Rakes is just like looks like everybody.
Mr. Plod.
Oscar has a very like refined, kind of distinctive.
You'd remember me.
Face, yeah.
He's charming. He's well dressed.
Tom Rakes is
like the opposite.
Every man.
Yeah, he is. He's like PC Plod, honestly.
But then I suppose that's the point, isn't it?
he'd get cast in the bill.
Yeah, not as a policeman.
Oh.
Do you mean as a civilian? Do you think he'd have a long? Do you think he'd be cast like as a one episoder, or he would be running?
He'd be extra number 5. This is no shade to. Oh, his name is Thomas in real life. Thomas Cockerell. He plays Tom Hanks.
Yeah, we're not saying you're a villain, but we're obviously talking about your actual face, which is the face you have. Sorry.
Yeah, you can change it.
Very much saying he's an everyman. He has the face of every man.
I'm sure it serves him well. I'm sure if I go on his IMDb, it's full chocker. He's probably been in every show.
Mr. Rakes, you rascal. Even that though, they didn't. They could have pushed it further.
No, I'm glad they didn't already. They didn't need to do much, and I hated him. It didn't make sense. Okay, let's get into it. Why are you stringing her along?
I don't know whether they wanted to make out that he actually genuinely loved her, but he realized that what he needed, that he was a bit of a Mrs. Russell and he actually needed to climb society, and she just didn't actually have any money at that current time.
Fair enough, but I thought he was definitely a social climber, and then she was the only person he knew. And then he realized, oh, actually, loads of women like me. So I don't have to.
Yeah, I suppose, and it's the idea that he's a man, he's a professional, he's not just, so he's still a lawyer. That's, got to, I suppose, have some weight to it, right? But he has, by virtue of him being a man and not needing a family name or somebody, I suppose, to sponsor him or like enter him into society, he can just walk in and do that himself. And then all of these people just come and take him out and let him be in their opera cup box and whatnot.
Oh, I hate
the hypocrisy of, and he is thirsty. But why did he go to New York? Like, you obviously were doing okay in. I just fancy a change.
But why do people move to London? Just like more stuff to do.
But do you believe that he was being earnest in his help in helping Peggy?
I do think he was earnest, but then it's just like, why?
I feel like he could have done more. I'm sure you could have found.
Oh, helping Peggy.
Yeah. Because that's, I suppose, how they get close, how Marion and him get close, because...
No, I think he did what he could. I just don't think he's a very good lawyer.
Marion, you're better off without him.
Or researching, yeah. I just don't like him.
I think if that had been on Downton Abbey, they would have had sex, and that would have been a scandal. And then it would have been like, shit, Marion's potentially ruined.
That you've reminded me. Okay, when the day I decided I hate this man is when he kissed her. Because I was like, why are you doing it? It was like, I felt it was like, he's such a fucking...
It was very seedy, yeah. But outside her bedroom in a hotel, and you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be here. It did feel a bit like she was pushing, and thank God that Peggy...
Yeah, it didn't feel like they were like lusting for each other. It felt like he was trying it.
Yeah, and she didn't know what to do or know to say no, and she was a bit taken up, I suppose, with the passion of it. But even then, I don't think she was absolutely feeling the passion. And
somebody kisses you, it's nice. That's all that is. Get him out of there. That's when I decided I don't care what his intentions are. I hate this man. And that's when I decided if they get married, I'm not watching anymore.
Well, luckily for the show, they haven't lost a viewer because
we don't need your viewership. People watch this show.
Predictably, Mr. Rakes doesn't show up.
He doesn't even show up.
Does he show? No, she has to go to his office and be like, oh, okay, I see. This is where Marion has got the fucking grace of God. More than I would have. I wish I could handle cried, probably. I think I would have. I don't know if I would have liked to have. either I would have liked to be how Marion was, which was super graceful and very understanding and kind of, which I suppose cuts in its own way because then the other person's like, wow, I've missed out on it. You've given me, you haven't, I can't feel bad about myself, or my behavior can't be justified because your reaction to it was a quote unquote overreaction and you've become
I'm kicking
the
off.
bitch. You've handled it with grace and now I have to just accept that I'm the only villain here. But I think that I would have kicked off.
You thought you were going to get married?
I wouldn't have kicked off in a way that was like cute or witty or very like sharp put downs. It would have been
a mess. I would have been crying for sure. Not knows. I thought, the thing is, you thought you were going to get married today.
Yeah. I'm just turning the light on, but keep going.
Okay. Sorry. I thought you were saying, let's wait a minute. I do not read cues well. I thought I was going to get married. I had to come to your office. First of all, why are you at work if you're like leaving me at the altar? And then she was compromised. Her own, that's the worst when they drag your family into it. My own cousin has to come and tell me what it is.
Oh, thank God for the cousin
has to tell me that you were out last night doing God knows what with God knows who. Like, I just thought it was a mess.
And you convinced this woman to elope. You did that.
You could have told her the night before. I mean, why would you go the night before? It's like literally, so somebody invites you on a date the night before you're supposed to get married and you think, oh, do you know what? I'm not going to get married anymore. Do me a fucking favour, you bellend. I hate him.
And she's the one doing everything, finding the place that they can meet. After you're pressuring her. And then when she finally relents, oh God, this is just triggering as hell. When she finally gives in to your pesters and then she's like, cool, here's where we can meet. Here's what we can do. You fucking bail on her. You leave her high and dry. You piece of shit.
Piece of shit. Hated him. And no shade, but the woman that he was into wasn't even all that. And I don't mean that by looks. I just mean everything about her wasn't for me. Her character. And I'm glad they didn't get married. And I hope she ends up with Mr. Russell, even though her aunt.
Well, at the ball, she stays out all night. I don't know. Now maybe Mrs. Van Ryan will warm to the Russells because I think she'll have to. I think she has to accept that change is afoot.
Yeah, she's an adaptable woman.
Exactly. If anything, she's still an adaptable person, as you say.
Yeah. The only other thing I wanted to say about that was, I don't think we'll get to her, so I'm just going to say it now. You know where they met, that woman's house, the one who was an outcast from society?
I want to say Mrs. Chamberlain.
Oh my God, I have a hole in my phone. I really need a new phone. I've dropped it too many times. Yes, I felt like the way they left things was as though she was going to blackmail Marion. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. The way that, yeah.
No, I feel that she had integrity.
I thought that until then.
Okay. Oh, no.
Simon Jones is next. Oh, sorry, who? Bannister. Who? Bannister, I think he's the butler.
Oh, I love Bannister, the British butler. Okay. The Van Ryan. To be honest,
I love both the butlers.
Yeah. I liked that he was
snitched on him.
Well, he walked in on because Miss Van Ryan walked in on the house, but was it because
she received a note saying that her butler was at the Russells?
But no, I don't think. No. She received did she not receive a note that her son was there and she walked in? Because I think that was a surprise. She saw Bannister there.
Who would have
was Oscar there having dinner?
Oh, I didn't know that's what the note was saying. I thought they told her.
I can't remember. I don't know because I don't think she went over to find Bannister. I think she went over and then saw Bannister and then she was really embarrassed.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And then somebody else, Marion was like, oh, I think that you were just here to say something. She saved the day.
I thought it was her butler.
No, there was another reason why she went over, but I could be wrong.
I doubt it.
Anyway, the point is, Mr. Bannister goes over to the Russell house to do some moonlighting to make sure that the dinner is served in the English way as opposed to the French way, because Mr. McAllister is coming to town, or we're coming for dinner, and he likes things to be done properly.
Even though he is trash, no shade.
Oh God, the biggest trash bag. Such a gossip. Walking into people's houses.
Why doesn't he live with his wife?
I don't know. And who is his wife? His wife isn't Mrs. Astor, is it? Or what's their relation? Is it?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know. I need to see a tree. I need to see an org chart. But Bannister, yeah, just I guess a good guy. Stickler for the old ways.
He's funny.
A proper
He's
butler,
not racist, so that's a plus.
Surprising for, an
English
person.
Maybe a bit unrealistic. The next person is Church, who is the American butler.
Again,
Mrs. Astor was a real person. She was a prominent socialite. Are all these people real people?
No, maybe. Well, I don't know. Is it actually Grand Central Station that they say? Because if it is, then surely it would have to be the Russell family that built it. They can't just make up a family.
I know the Russell family name, but I don't know what they did. Like, that is a family.
Anyway, Church, yeah, also a good butler. I don't know, nothing to say on him. Next.
Ada Brooke, Mrs. Van Ryan's
Cynthia Nixon. It was great to see her in a different kind of role, because I think we're obviously so used to seeing her as, well, Miranda, or as just herself, Cynthia Nixon.
I felt like coming from because I started watching this literally as a crossover as I was watching the new Sex
and just like that, yeah,
and it felt like it was funny because it was like, that's why I couldn't get into it at first. I didn't realize it was the first episode. I wasn't convinced. I was like, what the fuck is this? No shade. Yeah, but it was good. I felt bad for her when that guy, you remember that man who was like pretending he loved her for years?
Of course, yeah, that was a bit cold. But again, Miss Ryan
are such gold diggers. When men think you have something to offer, I'm not saying women don't do this as well, or I'm not saying non-binary people don't do this, but I'm specifically talking about how it's not reported in with men. When they think you have something like a social standing, if your family has money, they are thirsty. I'm sorry, but they are. And when they find out that it's not all that, they'll be like, oh, and they'll act like, but they're gold diggers. They are the real gold diggers, the real social climbers. I know how this looks, like I'm drinking and talking shit, but that's not what's happening. I'm drinking out of a fucking tumbler. This is a Woody from Toy Story shot. Okay. Did you watch Toy Story 4?
No, I did not.
Okay, we'll talk about it at the end. I'll make a note.
Are there any other characters that you desperately want to talk about? Because I feel like we've been chatting for quite some time.
Watson.
Who's Watson?
So Watson is the butler who clearly has a child who he shouldn't have.
Oh, right, of course.
Because he's like
the footman,
I'm sorry,
the valet.
That is the worst setup for a storyline ever. He's just gasping at this random woman and running away the whole time. It's like, oh fucking hell, give me something.
They didn't didn't develop that story, so they really should have cut it. Yeah.
No, they should have kept it. I was bored. He added I'm not saying I was bored of this show, but he added like a bit of nonsense to it. Like, you can't all be serious.
Nonsense in the sense that it was you. This is like not trash. A story.
Yeah, it's just
you've
ridiculous.
not tried at all with this, unless you're laying some ground roots for the seasons to come. But you also have to remember that you may not get another season, so you can't just have these things where we're like, "Is that your long lost daughter? How did she get into like what is going on?"
The thing is, I really enjoyed this show and I looked forward to it every week. It was like one of my highlights.
We'd watch it after recording. But talking about it makes me feel like nothing actually happened. It was just like we've also come hot off Bridgerton, where everything happens.
Yeah. maybe I'm not doing it justice. And the yeah, you're right. But I do look forward to season 2. It's been renewed, I think.
I think, yeah, we've been talking for a long time. So one thing that maybe I think we should talk about because it's funny, and then we should wrap it up maybe, unless we've missed out any major characters, is the
don't say the chef.
Okay, then there's nothing we have to say.
Sorry, say the chef, sorry.
The Russell's chef, just randomly, again, comedy plotline, like why?
It was funny.
Of course it was funny, but
it wasn't fun though. I think that's why I like the show. It was just like, it was nice.
They just throw in some like random Easter eggs where you're like,
it was just like a light-hearted show. Like they had, I think the main storyline is like, not the main storyline. The main storyline is about what's her face trying to climb in society, but the main movement of the show is all about like, oh my God, we've got electricity now and everything's changing so fast. And America, anybody can make it here. So like they have that going on, which is cute. And then you've got the social climax, and then you've got like really tepid sex scandals.
Yeah, but then they also, how can you sell us on like the American dream when they're to make it and to get a decent job as a talented chef, you have to pretend to be a Frenchman. Yeah, that's not the American dream. He could have made it as like some kid from Kansas.
But he did it.
Convincingly. Yeah. I did not see that coming.
He was the Donald Draper of the...
I did not see that coming.
We did miss 2 people. I can't remember the names, but they worked in the Van Ryan household.
Mm-hmm.
The man whose mother had died quite young.
The young footman and the kitchen maid, I guess, the maid.
Yeah,
Daisy.
I really liked her.
The Irish girl.
Oh, and also we missed out the old hag, no shade, the old racist woman.
I don't want to talk about her. She was irritating.
No,
you mean as in downstairs?
Yeah, hated her.
But I loved the cook who stole the silver, who was being then extorted by the people, I guess. I loved her.
She was funny. That was another. There were so many.
But what is going? I suppose maybe that is indicative of real life. That there's quite a lot of things that just happen in our lives that are random things that happen maybe on a day-to-day or week-to-week, maybe even month-to-month basis. But in the grand scheme of your life, they're not actually going to leave a big mark. So they don't need to be a big plot line. So maybe this show was groundbreaking in the sense that it just had a lot of nonsense that will never get developed because that's what happens in real life.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a good show. I liked it. I would recommend it if you haven't seen it.
I definitely recommend it, especially if you like period dramas. If you're not into period dramas, and it's not a show where I'd say, it's not like a Bridgerton where I'd be like, no, you should watch it anyway because that's not your typical period drama. This is very much your bread and butter period drama.
Yeah. My sisters listened to all the Bridgerton books.
Oh my God.
She was giving me a few bits without any spoilers because I kept saying, no spoilers. But yeah.
Well, there's one thing we know, Shonda will make it. No, it's Benedict.
But in the books, it's Colin.
Yeah, but in where it counts, in the Netflix original.
Also, this season was a mixture of books 2 and 3. So it's book 2 and some of book 3.
Right.
That's all I have to say.
The books must be steamy as hell if they stretch that out over.
Okay. Oh my God. Some of the dialogue. I'll see if I can find it. I probably can't. My phone said I can't. Because there's people on Instagram who post clips, like pictures from the show with like screenshots of text from the book. And yes, that's the side of Instagram I'm on.
Is it word for word or not?
Yeah.
So
the quotes from the book will be like literal dialogue from the book, word for word. Not just like random, like they'll take a chunk.
Yeah. That makes sense. I hope so. There's other things.
Go on your explore page.
No, it'll be there full of it now. I feel like, no, who am I kidding? My suggestions are all still Bridgerton themed things. You only need to look at the messages that I sent to Wait Rewind the Tape account.
Oh yeah, did you see
90% Bridgerton content?
Yeah,
and it always will be. So did I see?
There was I think it was not last night, the night before. There was a whole big argument about Penelope's character. There was discourse.
Where?
On Twitter. She was
on Twitter, sorry. Yeah, no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I took a screenshot and then I just couldn't be bothered to post it because I just thought it was funny that she was trending and people are, I told you, Penelope fans are like insane. They're like, wow, she had to, and I'm just like,
she didn't have to do anything.
Like, I get it if this was a real person who you've loved and you feel like you have to defend, but you cannot defend a fictional character like that. You can clearly see when she's in the wrong, but whatever. I think a lot of people see themselves in her. But yeah, just let them have it. That's my new saying. Let them have it.
Let it,
oh God.
Let it be.
Let it go. Yeah. Oh, and we never said rest in peace to the Wanted singer.
Oh yeah. If you've listened to this show for a long time, you'll know that we randomly talk about old noughties, maybe 90s singers, obscure British kind of groups, artists that most people, unless you grew up in Britain at that time, would know about. Maybe we're underrating some of these artists. One such one was The Wanted. I think we have a whole 10-15 minutes on one episode
across
where we just
as well.
Across 2 episodes where we just have a deep dive into it, but sadly one of the band members passed away.
I'm so sorry, I gave the wrong name. It was not Jay McGuinness, it was Tom Parker who passed away. He had a brain and tumor.
Yeah,
it wasn't an aneurysm. But yeah, sorry to clumsily move on. I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say. I don't want to leave the episode like this.
Yeah, this will be definitely top 10 of worst episode endings if we do.
Not even close. Not even. Yeah. I know it's a bit of an anti-climax after British, so you've got to understand that is the highlight of the year for us. So
absolutely, the peak of the season, the start of the season, if anything.
Somebody has tweeted.
No, it's not the start of the season.
Is it okay to date a deceased friend's ex-lover? I don't want to unpack it. I just think that's such a random thing to see. Yeah.
Oh God.
Random.
How deceased? You know what? No, it doesn't matter.
Well, you can do what you like.
I don't know what your situation is. Yeah, you're the only one that can answer that question for yourself. Is it okay? Do you think it's okay or not? If you think it is, fine. Be prepared for any fallout that may come.
Yeah, do what you do. If they're anything like my lovers, nobody even knew they were.
Or you might end up dating one of them without realizing because
honestly,
it's a secret. No,
I was a secret. I mean, I thought they were a secret, but really I was the secret.
Doesn't it hit hard when you realize that you're the one that's actually
yes
you're like, no, I'm the one that's not what? I'm preserving myself by not opening myself up to your life, and then you realize they don't care, they don't want to meet anybody. Yeah, it never would be. You think they're crying at home because you won't take them home to your parents or let them meet your best friend? No, because they're with somebody else.
Oh my gosh.
And there it is.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
That is the way the cookie crumbles. Things that we can watch. Oh my God, sorry. I know that we've been talking for a very, very long time, but I just have to say, so on, I think Sunday, and then maybe I finished it off yesterday, I watched finally Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Maybe we have to do an episode on just the Avengers, the kind of Infinity Stone finding.
Okay, if we do it, we have to watch all of them because I've only seen the 2 you've seen.
Okay, fine. I've definitely seen the first Avengers Assemble, I guess.
Yeah.
The first one. Yeah, we've seen that. Can't remember it, but seen it. And I've definitely seen Age of Ultron, but can't remember it.
I haven't seen it.
But then, yeah, these two, fucking hell.
Yeah, I've seen those.
I got things to say.
The last one, I'm sorry, but the last one is funny at the beginning. It is quite funny because it's just like, after all that, you're just going to bring everyone back.
Yeah, come on.
Right,
and you don't think that there's any risk in, you know what?
Like scientific, like their bodies only, like, oh, anyway, I'm sure everybody knew that was going to happen because it's probably a very popular comic book, but still. I was shocked because at the end of Endgame, I'd never seen any of the Avengers. I was like, this is not what I was expecting. I was like, how have they come back? What? No, that's such a sad ending. And then it was like, what happens in the next one? Oh, they're all back. And okay, cool.
Oh, is it in Endgame? After like in Infinity War, where everybody just like, but obviously we know that that's not, something must have happened because we've seen WandaVision. We know that Wanda comes back.
No, WandaVision is after Infinity War.
Exactly, but in Infinity War, she is one of the like 50% that gets dusted by Thanos. Yeah, so obviously we know that going into, like, I knew going into Endgame, well, they're going to bring them back somehow.
Oh no, but I watched it before WandaVision.
Yeah, so I didn't, but I kind of was like, oh, okay, well, I know that. I guess, if you didn't know, if you hadn't, if you watched it when it came out, then you're like, that would be very like.
I was devastated because I didn't want to go and watch it. I was like, this is going to be some dumb shit. And then I was like,
so long though.
God. Yeah, it was very long. That was a long night. I went on a date. It was a cute date. And I hated the guy I went on a date with and ended up taking.
Fucking hell. And ended up going for the longest cinema trip. But at least then you're like, you've put in a decent amount of time with this person on a date that you wouldn't if maybe, well, you probably would if you.
No, we stayed up the rest of the night, like talking and stuff. That was the longest day of my life. That was like a 10-hour date. I had fun.
Didn't even like.
No, I liked him for a long time.
I
hated him at first. He was saying stuff after the cinema that was annoying me.
Right.
And then, but by this, after a 3-hour conversation, you're like, you're all right.
Yeah.
And I ended up dating him for years.
How long was Endgame?
As long as our relationship. 3 hours.
I mean, how long ago was it? I thought it was still fairly recent.
Ago. No, that was ages ago.
What?
It was.
Well, maybe was it pre-pandemic? Oh, time moves differently now.
Oh, it was 4 years ago.
Wow.
95, yeah.
No, it was 2019.
No, it wasn't. Endgame.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
I knew it wasn't that long ago. Yeah, 2019. Are you thinking of Infinity War?
No, that's the one that came out recently.
No, Endgame is the last one.
Oh my God, that's why it's called. Oh my God, I'm thinking of Infinity War. I'm so sorry, listeners. Yeah, 2018. Yes. I'm sorry, I was talking about Infinity War. Yeah, Endgame feels like it came out yesterday, but that's because the pandemic made me forget that 2019 to me was like 2 years ago. Not 3, if that makes sense.
Right, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Anyway, it did make me think, do you know what? I do like a Marvel film and a Marvel series.
Love them.
I started watching Moon Knight.
Oh, never. Oh, okay, that looks all right.
Jury's still out.
Every time someone talks about it, I think they're talking about the Jared Leto one.
Oh, Morbius. No, I'm not going to bother with that.
As soon as I saw the advert, I was like, no, forget the reviews. As soon as I saw the advert, I was like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. And why is this man like this in every film? Just the king of doing it entirely too much.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There aren't many actors who I see and I'm like, I'm not watching this.
Wait, Batman's DC, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I was going to say he's been the Joker, so how can he also be the
he can do whatever he wants, yeah. But you know what I cannot wait for? They're bringing back Blade. And if you probably don't remember, but when we started this podcast, I hadn't watched the Blade trilogy.
I still haven't. I do remember.
Oh my God. Because I said something so dumb. But I watched the Blade trilogy. I feel like it was a few weeks ago, but it was probably like years ago now, months ago even. But like, I loved it.
To this day, people are still surprised that I haven't seen it. Because it's right up my street, really.
Yeah. Maybe it's the racism. Listeners, Natalie refuses to watch Black Vampires. Put that in your blog.
At the risk of sounding...
blog.
The risk of sounding like every person who says they're not racist. Queen of the Damned is one of my favourite vampire movies.
Oh my God! Not that guy. I love the blacks. Oh my God, Matthew, if I ever hear you saying, my best friend is black, I swear to God, I will be like, honey, nip it in the
Not anymore. No, she's not. No, I would never, and have never. I'm
just re-looking at Rihanna's maternity Vogue shoot.
Oh, that orange.
If someone's pregnant, I call every photo a maternity shoot. It's not. It's
just them taking a picture.
Yeah. Why is that a maternity shoot? She's literally just doing a Vogue cover shoot.
Okay, we won't dissect that on the podcast.
I just way really too like much. The cover. I think it's gorgeous.
Oh, gorgeous, stunning. Yeah, guys, really go watch it. Sorry, not watch it. Go
There's
look at it.
That you can watch.
She looks incredible.
Beautiful. She does.
It's a great look.
Phenomenal.
If I was pregnant, that's the kind of look I'd want. But I'd probably be like, no, I can't wear this. But maybe I'd be like, yeah, I can. Maybe when you're pregnant, you're like,
yeah, because you're like, it's more of a moment. Because I feel like it is a big deal. I know everyone has children, like, well, we all come from someone's pregnancy, but I think it's cool that you can like mark. I don't know, it's amazing. And you feel like there's a person in you.
I just think I have this very stupid idea. Sorry, this is going to sound really dumb, but I'm just going to have to say it.
It's fair to work through these things now.
That when, like, if I got pregnant, that my body I just look like a pregnant, but like, obviously not, your body does change, but yeah, I feel like I'd be like, well, I would no longer have a belly because I'd have a pregnant belly.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe you would still have does that make sense?
It makes 100%. It makes sense.
I'm like, I wouldn't. It would stretch everything out, and I would no longer have the body that I have because I would have a pregnant body, which I suppose you do, but then not to the point.
You may not feel as good as you think you're going to feel because when anyone, when your body changes rapidly, it can be very difficult to adjust to quickly. But I think that there's also the whole thing with, I've not experienced this in real life, I'm talking about obviously these things I've read. There was this thing about like people that you could buy like a bump smoother and all sorts of things. There's still like unrealistic beauty standards.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's how I see myself as having the unrealistic standard when in reality I'd probably be like,
this isn't what I expected.
I'm still lumpy.
Yeah.
Why do I still look like a sack of potatoes?
Yeah.
Just a bigger sack.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I can't wait to be a bigger sack.
So that's it, guys. Go watch The Gilded Age. Let us know what you thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
One last final thing. I think it's funny to me to think that The Gilded Age that's where the Featheringtons would be if obviously in a few more generations, but if they had moved to the States.
Yeah, Mrs. Lady Featherington.
Well, she'd be dead by then. But she would have, her ancestors would have.
Yeah.
But they would have, I suppose, run the ton a bit because they would have been that old
but she
family
would have
name.
Still come from scandal, so there would have been a lot of talk around their family. But there always is. They are scandalous.
The Featheringtons. Imagine fucking Penelope in. Well, she wouldn't have been in The Gilded Age, but you know what I mean. Her offspring still carrying on the TMZ global lady Whistledown empire.
Yeah. But now she's made so much money and everyone loves her.
Mm. Well, she can be free to be who she is in the States. Well, that's what she thinks.
To a certain extent, yeah.
That's it. That's the show.
Okay.
See you next week, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Rewind the tape.